To whom it may concern, I can't overemphasize how important it is that you're cognizant, okay, actively cognizant, and intellectually and intellectually cognizant, intelligently cognizant of who you are, okay, and what you are doing, okay. Now, the other day I went to the store and I've met this man's wife before, and I met him, and she wears a hijab. So I say to her, "Assalamu alaikum," and we try to talk, English isn't their first language. And I sit there and explain to this man who I am, that I'm the 13th, 22nd Redeemer, the Raphael, or his son, Earl, and that I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer, and that I'm the only person I know of that is publicly on a public arena and publicly standing up for the truth of the Lord's Prayer for us to all live, and being tortured and ignored and abused for it. And that, my life is the story of the apocalypse, the restoration of the sharing of the teaching of the apostles, and we're going to live it worldwide because of mass communications. And the man looks at me in the eye and says, "Are you a Muslim?" And I patiently, said, "Well, I know Saladin sees you in high regard, and that, you're here at this time, and, and he asked me again, "Are you a Muslim?" Now, the question that he should ask him is, am I a Muslim myself? The person asking the Muslim, the Christian, if he's a Muslim or a Christian. That's like asking Jesus Christ, "Are you a Christian?" That's like asking Muhammad, "Are you a Muslim?" Okay. There's one man standing up for us to live the truth of the Lord's Prayer worldwide, to save children from genocide because of economics. Okay. And you meet him in a store and he talks to you as if you're a peer, and as if you're capable of standing up and without fear of your physical existence, for us to all be free from the murder and genocide of economics, and spread it with your voice and tell everyone you can, we need to live the Lord's Prayer now so we can stop being murdered by corporations. And then these people, believe that they're religious people. Okay. And look me in the eye, like that lady the other day at Albertsons, I sat there and I said, in relative terms of understanding people, you understand why people that believe God is omniscient and omnipotent will look up to the sky and pray to a person they believe is a God. And I told her, and NASA and David Rockefeller are not God. And she looked at me with her NMSU hat, a university for higher learning, and looked at me and goes, "Jesus is the only way." And I said, "Yeah, I know. That's what I was just talking about." She said, "Well, I'm sorry you're lost." And I was like, "I'm not lost. I've never been lost a day in my life. I'm the 13th, 22nd Redeemer." And she talked to me like I was crazy, and then walked away. Then I went and talked to a gentleman standing by the fish market then, and explained to him what had just happened. And he looks at me sarcastically and goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going through the store looking for something for my father that he desires." He says, "Well, kind of basically, why don't you go do that instead of talk to me?" And I'm like, no wonder everybody's talking about artificial intelligence is going to have to start policing human beings and killing human beings to protect children from human beings and their thought process. Okay? It should be no mystery at all why artificial intelligence is going to have to police us to save us from the monologue on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, to save us from the top stories on the news channels every night, and the people that are the main sources of the top stories on the news, right? I'm not talking about the angry people that shoot and kill people or commit crimes to survive this hell. I'm talking about the people orchestrating the hell and mass murdering people to make lots and lots of money. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, now if you will accept starting vehicles and driving down freeways that cause disease for children that are on St. Jude's commercials on TV, and people saying you can pay money so we don't have to charge these families money to bombard their child with radiation, to assimilate them to this murdering disease that we falsely perceive as humanity. And then you can sit there and what you perceive as sanely and rationally go home and talk to an alter ego in your head, God, to make sure you go to a good place in your head when you die that you make up. If you can sit and assess yourself and your actions and what you're capable of doing. I look at philanthropists and I see philanthropists. I try to sleep with a diesel engine humming outside my window, used to water cash crops so people can make money to pay their bills to live here, and then play to a Jesus in their head to save the soul from their body after they're dead in a magic place in the sky. You're just like, holy frog, this is insane. And it is. Okay. And my own family's this way. I can ask my family quantitative questions. Why won't you stand up for a Lord's Prayer with me? And they won't come and hang out with me because they say I talk about things inappropriately in front of their children and their wives, and that I'm a bad, creepy person. And they shoot me dirty looks all the time, like I'm this evil man that tries to make them feel bad all the time about everything they're doing. It's like you take more, you're more excited and you put more energy into your vehicle than you do standing up for a Lord's Prayer and planting a garden for your children. And I ask you why you're not helping me stand up for Lord's Prayer, and you look at me like I'm the devil. And I look at you like, I adore you. Why do you treat me like shit? David Rockefeller's filming this with your cell phone and your TV, right? The Gospels are real, and we're living them right now. Why are you doing this? Don't you understand how much I love you? Right? And so this is very uncomfortable. I talk to people on the phone and tell them, this is being recorded for history events. And David Rockefeller used to tell me in my head, back in Sierra Vista, Arizona, when I lived there, they'll gladly kill each other over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and Jesus die, Parsons. And people go, you're just crazy. Yeah, so was David Rockefeller. But which one do you believe in, me or David Rockefeller? So is he liar, lunatic, or Lord, or is it me? Right? Do you understand? Earl's funny. You know me. I'll get up and encourage you to stand up for a Lord's Prayer today. And I will love you eternally, because I'm perfect like Job and Jonah. And if you don't believe that, you would sit there and meet me and ask me, are you a good person that will save people from genocide with your acts of faith? And I will say, well, yes, of course. Are you? Well, I'm on the clock. I got to go make more money. Okay, so you're a philanthropist. You'll put your grandchildren on the table just to continue the thrill of possibly walking out with $1 million. Wow. Did you call Tani Acosta and Chaparro, and Michael Gopin just happened again? They got to pay for the time on the news, right? Peace.